Most businesses today are heavily reliant on technology. Many couldn't operate if their technology didn't work. There's a lot of businesses out there that are actually paying cyber insurance premiums, but effectively have no cyber coverage because of all of these exclusions. We're trying to stay as agile as possible. Things are moving faster than I've ever seen them before. It's staggering. Being very cybersecurity focused, our big concern is making sure that AI is used properly and not in a dangerous manner or as a weapon.
Hello, everyone. My name is Paul Palumbo. I'm the host of the Palumbo Podcast, where we interview founders of businesses and learn how they got to the top. Today, I am joined with Michael Hornby, the founder and CEO of Techmentum, a leading IT services firm based in the New York City area. With over 20 years of experience in technology, Michael has built Techmentum into a trusted partner for businesses nationwide, delivering innovative solutions in cybersecurity, cloud computing, and IT strategy for clients ranging from startups to Fortune 500 companies. Michael's journey began with a passion for computers at a young age, eventually earning degrees in computer science and engineering from Rutgers University before working as a software engineer at Motorola. Since founding Techmentum in 2007, he's been at the forefront of helping organizations boost productivity, reliability, and security through tailored technology solutions. So, Michael, welcome to the show.
Phil, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. My pleasure. So, like I always like to say, all of us as founders of businesses, we all have a choice. We could work for an employer or we can be the employer, right? And you chose the employer route, running your own business. So walk me through how that actually began.
I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, I guess. I always knew I wanted to be in business for myself. I love having big impact, making big change, love helping people. So I was always on the path. I just had to figure out where that was going to go. My other passion was technology. So as you mentioned, websites before 10, I got my first job working in technology at 15. I had to be picked up from work by my parents because I couldn't even drive yet. So I've always been on that path. From there, I was just figuring out how you mix the two together. For me, I guess I kind of fell into this line of business because I was always tinkering with computers. I would build my own computers. I would, help people when they had problems. And it just kind of grew from there. People were always asking me, hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And I love doing it. So I said, this would make a great business. There's such a demand. There's a growing demand for this. And I think I can really add value to people.
So in 2007, you started your own business. So how old were you then when you started your business?
I was 23.
23.
Yeah.
You started your own business when you were 23.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously a little bit smaller then than it was now, and it's been a long road. But when I started it, we were focused only on supporting home users. So my entry into the market was really to be a competitor to the Geek Squads of the world, right? And I saw a company out there that was charging a lot of money and not doing the best job out there. So I saw an opportunity where I could do it better, faster, and cheaper than they could. So I went out and I started to, help people remove viruses and set up networks and all those kinds of things. Eventually that grew over the years and the business has migrated a lot. We now exclusively support businesses, very, very heavy in cybersecurity. So we're changing with technology. And I'm sure being in your business and talking to people, technology is changing faster than ever. So we've just kind of moved with it as the years have gone on. And that's how we got to where we are today.
So Michael, you mentioned that you built something that was better, faster, and cheaper, which seems like the recipe that Amazon talked about and many companies that have really thrived, right? It's always saying, okay, well, how can I take something out there that I see where there's a gap with a particular offering, make it fast, make it better, make it faster, and then ultimately make it cheaper. Like that seems to be the real recipe, especially in the technology space, that seems to work. Would you agree with that? And tell me about that mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. So, technology, oftentimes you can do better, faster, or cheaper, or two of the three. You can't do all three. Technology is moving so fast that as long as you're staying agile and trying to stay ahead of the curve, you can do it better, faster, and cheaper. You see prices of technology coming down constantly as time is going on. So as long as you're making sure that you're innovating and staying on top of that, you can make it cheaper. the better and faster comes along with it, right? Everything is advancing together. So as long as you're staying at the forefront, you never want to be too far at the forefront, but you want to find that sweet spot where you're delivering solutions that are tested, that are robust, and that are the appropriate solutions for the type of business. As long as you do that, the rest just falls into place.
So, Michael, tell me in the most simplistic way, exactly what your company does.
Sure. So our clients are typically small and mid-sized companies, anywhere from 10 to 500 employees that either don't have an in-house IT team and they outsource the entire function to us, or they have an in-house IT team, but they'll outsource pieces of it to us. So for example, they might handle the my printer's not working and type of help desk type things. We handle the bigger stuff like the cybersecurity, right? So every company nowadays is a target for hackers. Every company that relies on their technology or every company that has sensitive data that they don't want to get leaked out is a target. So everyone needs security. Everyone needs a solid IT infrastructure in their company to help them be competitive in the market. And so our clients outsource that entire function to us, and we handle it all for them. We make sure they're secure. And more importantly, we make sure that they're using technology to make their businesses successful, right? Most businesses today are heavily reliant on technology. Many couldn't operate if their technology didn't work. But more so, they're operating more efficiently, right? They're trying to beat their competitors. So if they can have more efficient systems that help them to deliver their products and services better, that puts them at a competitive advantage. So we come in and we partner and help them with that.
So, since you launched your firm, and here we are, fast forward 2025, right? What challenges have you noticed that you had to overcome as a business owner?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'd say for us, sales is the hardest part for three reasons. Number one, the sales cycle in technology is very difficult. We're being trusted with the keys to the castle for our clients who are relying on technology to deliver their services. It's very difficult to convince someone who doesn't know much about what you do, even. They don't know much about technology, that you're the right organization to give that level of trust to. The second, especially for me, I'm coming from an engineering and a technology background. We're not salespeople. We're technologists, right? So that's something we still struggle with to this day. I'm not the kind of person to say, now what would it take to get you into a maintenance contract today? That's not how we operate. So we've tried to get better at crafting our message to explain our value, and we find it tends to resonate actually with some of the more savvy businesses out there that really understand what's going on. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that will go with the salesperson that promises a lot of shiny things and knows all the sales tricks. And we're not interested in tricks. So, it's been a challenge to come up with the right message to explain to people who may not know a lot about technology. Here's what you need. Here's why you need it. And here's how it's going to benefit your company in the long term. So that's kind of the second piece of it. The third is, especially nowadays with all the cyber crime going on, people buy cyber insurance and they think it covers them. They think they don't need security because they maybe buy an insurance policy with $1 million or $2 million limit. And guess what? Insurers don't like paying out claims, and they'll do whatever they can to avoid it. So the first thing that the insurance company does when there's a claim is they go through the questionnaire that the company filled out when the policy was written. And if you said, oh, I had multi-factor authentication in place everywhere, the insurance company will come in and check, did you have it everywhere, on every user, on every system? And if you don't, they deny the claim. And we're seeing a lot more of this happening where insurance companies are denying it. They're also coming out and saying, oh, you were hacked by someone in Russia or in North Korea. That's an act of war. That's a policy exclusion. We're not going to cover your claim. So there's a lot of businesses out there that are actually paying cyber insurance premiums, but effectively have no cyber coverage because of all of these exclusions. So again, sitting down in front of a business owner and telling them, you guys think you have cybersecurity insurance and you think you're covered when, really it's quite a bit of a gray area, and it's being frankly litigated in court a lot now. So that's really where the challenges are, is showing people why they need these services and trying to get them protection before it's too late.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's, cybersecurity is a major threat for all companies that are out there. In regards to that, when you install cybersecurity into you call your customers or clients?
Clients.
Fine. So for your clients, is that 100% foolproof?
There unfortunately is no such thing. And, the proof in the pudding is the government, the Pentagon's got a, billions of dollars budget, and even they've been hacked, right? So there is no such thing as foolproof. If there was, everyone, of course, would be using it. The answer is security in layers. So sometimes called the Swiss cheese model. If you take a piece of Swiss cheese, there's a lot of holes in that Swiss cheese, and someone can get through it. But when you layer a whole bunch of pieces of Swiss cheese together, eventually there are no holes that you can get through. So one layer may stop a certain type of attack, and a different layer may stop another one. So it's about layering all those on top of each other. And I think one of the things that's made us incredibly competitive in the market is that we've kind of figured out what the sweet spot is, where businesses can spend a very, very reasonable amount of money and get a very, very good level of protection. And it elevates them so that, again, not foolproof, but they're no longer the low-hanging fruit. There's a lot of security in place. There's a lot of monitoring to detect if something is going on. And that's where we're really able to sell our value, is that we've kind of figured out the secret sauce here.
That's great. That's really great. So let's go. I want to go back to sales real quick, because sales is, I always say to people all the time that you can have the greatest product in the world, but if you don't know how to sell the product, then it's not going anywhere, right? And there's so many businesses out there that actually have created incredible things that just couldn't get the message out there the right way and failed.
Yeah.
So those that are listening, in terms of your business, knowing that sales may not be one of your major skill sets or a skill set at all, like you just talked about before. So what have you done about that?
We've tried to lean into, what we're good at, which is the technology piece. So we try and demonstrate as much as possible from a technology standpoint, but in clear and concise language that people can understand what the actual risks are. Everyone knows a business that's been victim of cybercrime. There's very few people that you ask and you say, do you know anyone who's been victim? And they say, yeah, I know someone, they lost $300,000, $600,000. And the numbers are staggering. So people know that this is going on. We come in and we explain in very clear language how it's happening and what you can do to protect against those things. So for example, some very basic ones are, you have Microsoft 365, a service that can be logged into from anywhere in the world. That means when you want to get your email, great, you can get your email. Someone tries to log in from Russia, they can also get your email as long as they have your password. Why open that up to the entire world? Let's reduce the attack surface and say, we're only allowing people to log in from the United States, for example. People understand that in very, very clear and straightforward language, and it makes sense to them. And so those are the kinds of layers that we're putting in place, all sorts of preventative and security measures. And when you explain it to people in terms like that, they tend to understand and they tend to be more on board with it.
So what kind of core principles do you have that has guided your business decisions all along the way?
Yeah, great question. So our company's core values, like the first one I had mentioned earlier, is agility. So technology is constantly innovating. We're trying to stay as agile as possible. Things are moving faster than I've ever seen them before. It's staggering. And, you see with AI coming out and just the rate at things are changing. So we've always, from the beginning, tried to stay agile. The other two are comprehensive and proactive. So we really try and make sure that we come up with complete solutions for our clients, and we try and stay ahead. We're trying not to be firefighters. We want to be fire marshals, right? We don't want to come in with buckets of water when the house is burning down. We want to come in advance and be proactive and say, what can we do to make sure that these negative events don't happen?
Love it. Love it. And what about culture? So how do you think about culture within your company?
Culture has been also hugely important from the beginning for us. We've done a few things. The first is we've set a very clear vision within the company that everyone's on board with. So we tell everyone we're empowering SMBs to succeed through better technology. That's our goal. Everyone in our company is on board with that. We're all rowing in the same direction. The second thing that we've done is very, very collaborative environment. So everyone works very, very closely together in our organization. Technology has grown to the point where a single person cannot know everything. It is no longer possible. It used to be back in 2007 when I started the business. Nowadays, it's not possible. So we're always collaborating with each other. We're always relying on kind of the localized experts to help with various things. And I think that has created probably our strongest element of culture within the company of we all want to help each other and we all want to help our clients succeed. So that's been hugely successful for us.
And you think that that has come from the top?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we did it from day one from our first employee. I always tried to be collaborative with them. And as we grew and as I kind of stepped out from the day to day and more involved in management and strategy, everyone else has adopted that as well. So we've been very careful to bring people in that follow that same mindset.
And so, as far as growth of your company, right? So you do X amount of sales per year. How do you grow, how do you continue to grow your company? Because I'm a big believer if you're not growing, you're dying.
100%, and especially in this industry, you have to be growing. The biggest thing for us is we've grown the cheapest way that we know how, which is through referrals. It's a lot easier to start doing business with a new company when they've heard great things about you from everyone else. Forever thankful to our first clients that we got that were so happy with our services and told their friends and competitors. I find it's an efficient way to grow also because it keeps our costs down. We're not spending a lot of money on sales and marketing. And we ultimately pass that savings on to our clients, which gives us even more of a competitive edge.
Excellent. Very good. And then as far as so we all have businesses, right, that has profits. And you're the sole owner of your company?
I am, yes.
Okay. When you think about your sales, you think about your expenses, then you have your net profits at the end of the day. And and as business people, we have to make a decision. Do we want to take those profits and invest in a portfolio of stocks, real estate, et cetera? Or do we want to take that money and reinvest in the business, get a deduction for doing that,
Mhm.
and hopefully reinvest in that capital and getting a fair rate of return of, let's say, maybe it's 10% or greater, which is about the return that I can achieve within my business by reinvesting in areas that can grow the business. Normally, it's actually more like 15% or greater. Plus you have the tax benefit of doing that,
Right.
but you don't pay taxes on that particular capital.
Right.
How do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, we analyze it in a very similar way as you. If we think that there's investment that will help us grow, happy to make it. And all of those extra deductions that come along with it are the icing on the cake, right? For us, growth doesn't just mean expansion. It means we could be growing towards more stability, more innovation, better client outcomes, whatever it may be. But as long as we can invest and we know that we're getting a good enough return on that investment, for us, that's the key. We use the money as a tool, not as a goal. So if we can use that as a tool to make us better, then fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, good, excellent, excellent. And then, from a wealth management perspective, when you think about your personal situation and working with advisors, as people are hiring you as their advisor on the technology side, how do you think about wealth management for yourself personally as a business owner, right? So you have your business. So in your field, is there a value to your business?
Absolutely. Of
Okay.
course. Yes.
Yeah. So for all of us, right, we have our value of our business, then we have what we're trying to do on the personal side here,
Mhm.
put money away and then investing, et cetera. So tell me about how you think about wealth management for you and your family and your business, et cetera.
Yeah, I don't tend to. I mean, the business is of course, worth something. I try not to include that in my calculations of what we need for retirement and things like that, because you don't know what size the business is going to be when you're ready to exit, right? So, I look more about cash flow out of the business to make sure that it's operating efficiently and profitably, and make sure to invest that money accordingly.
Yeah. So as far as exit planning is concerned, right? So I have the big thing. So I'm a certified exit planning advisor. So when we talk to business owners, quite seldom, we try to help them understand that always be operating at best in class, and which basically means that you're in a technology space. You have competitors, and those competitors have a certain valuation based on
Mhm.
how they're operating, and they also have a certain profitability, right? So the idea behind all of us is to really be at that highest level, so you're always prepared in the event you ever do want to exit, or maybe even get a private equity firm involved and take 20-30% stake of the company. So how do you think about being exit ready?
I haven't put a lot of thought into exit because I don't plan to exit soon. I know everyone exits one way or another, so it's always in the back of my mind. I think best in class is what we're focused on because I want to set up so that if I do eventually choose to exit, we have a well-built company. But I really care more about best in class because I think that's what gives us our advantage. So if we can make best in class services, We want to make sure that our finances are all in order. I think that that makes a healthy company that can subsist for a long time. Not many technology organizations make it to 18 years, which we're at right now, which I'm very
Right.
proud of.
Right.
But I want to make sure that we can continue. So, I always make sure that cash flow is good, that we have enough capital in the business. We've never had to worry about missing a payroll or anything like that, because I think that companies that are in not a situation where they're not well capitalized, if they have to worry about things like making payroll or how they're going to pay their expenses, inevitably there's going to be tough times in the business, right? And you want to make sure you're prepared for that. So that's why I always try to build best in class, is to prepare for those downturns.
Do you ever hire a business coach to help you along the way?
So I have several coaches that help with various different things.
Do you really?
I recently started with SCORE, which is a nonprofit organization that has retired business people that want to give back and donate their time to talk to business owners and bounce ideas around, give recommendations. So these are industry veterans that are willing to help out for free. I'm
Wow.
also part of numerous peer groups where we talk to people around the country that are in similar businesses to ours to try and understand what's working, what's not working. We don't want to be out there doing it alone, right? So we all talk to each other, very, very collaborative, and try and figure out how we can be successful together.
That's excellent. Good for you. Have you ever done like a Sullivan, Dan Sullivan? You know
Oh,
Dan
I'm
Sullivan?
familiar with Dan Sullivan. I have not, but yeah, I'm in similar types of organizations to that. Yeah,
I love it. That's great. And I just want to finish off talking about artificial intelligence as it relates to what you do. So everybody's in a certain industry, and artificial intelligence is going to be part of everyone's industry. And it's
absolutely.
just a question of how each company, I guess, adopts it. So how can you help companies that your clients that you work with adopt artificial intelligence into their business?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's what everyone is concerned about right now. So being very cybersecurity focused, our big concern is making sure that AI is used properly and not in a dangerous manner or as a weapon, right? So we're feeding a lot of data into AI, putting a lot of trust into it. I think it's a fantastic tool. I think it's going to help our clients immensely. I think people are already starting to leverage it. It has to be done safely, right? So you don't want free chat GPT accounts that your employees are dumping sensitive data into, and now other people are getting that data out of ChatGPT. That's not good. So, making
Right.
sure to implement it properly, implementing private models that other people don't have access to is key. And making sure that you're using it in a responsible way, I think it's going to be hugely important in the success of many businesses. Absolutely.
You help build those AI models that can stay privately within a company?
We don't build the model itself, but yes, we help to implement the existing models out there in a private environment. So typically for us, that's in the Microsoft Azure cloud, where companies can get their own model. They can put whatever they want into it, and that data is completely safe.
And do you have a view of quantum computing, which is not here yet, but there is a lot of chatter that it will be here?
Yeah, a lot of chatter. It's really hard to predict out that far. I think it's showing tons of potential. Whether it will materialize, don't know. We're following it closely, and of course, we want to be at the forefront when that starts to come out, but too early to say.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, great. So, Michael, is there anything that you want to mention in regards to your company that would help for the viewers, maybe your website or how they can contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. Our website is techmentumit.com, and I definitely encourage people to visit, reach out to us for a discussion. We do free consultations. Like I said, we're not high pressure salespeople. We're technologists. We love helping people. I want to see businesses protect themselves. I want to see them succeed. So even if it's just a discussion with us where I can help out, I'm always happy to do that. And my biggest advice to businesses out there, non-technology businesses, is be aware of what's going on. Talk to other business owners, find out what their challenges are with technology and what their struggles are, and specifically, make sure that you're protecting yourselves. We hate when people come to us and it's too late. We want to protect beforehand. We don't want to be doing the cleanup afterwards.
I love that. It's so important. It really, really is, especially with cybersecurity, just all over us and around us.
Absolutely. People put so much into building their businesses into, millions of dollars, and can disappear overnight. And
Yeah,
don't want that to happen.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, Michael, thank you so much for your time and perspectives today. It's very, very helpful. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Phil.
All right. My pleasure.